Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today it is time to talk about second line gameplay. Let's go. I already made a video about second line gameplay which is linked right here. Feel free to watch this one first. Second line gameplay is a particular playstyle that you can use in order to make damage even if your tank lacks strength like armor or for example DPM. So how does second line gameplay work and what tips and tricks should you apply? Let's find out with some gameplay. So first game in the Grille 15, we are spawning on the reworked Airfield map, a map which I do not like too much, to be quite honest. But in order to introduce you into the topic of second line gameplay and in the topic of playing tanks like the Grille more aggressively and more offensively with conducting second line gameplay, I want to start with this replay. So the first thing I want to make clear is, of course, you can play, and certainly most of the time you should play your glass cannon TD very defensively at the beginning of the game, and there's nothing wrong with playing a sniper like a sniper and sitting at the back of the map and trying to snipe on tanks which are spotted by your teammates, like in this situation. So there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing I want to stress is that if you want to play those tanks more successfully, you have to adapt to the gameplay. And so as there will only be like 30% of the games in which the adversary team is playing so offensively that they are advancing and then basically rushing into your defense, and thus giving you the chance of making enough damage, there are a lot of games which work differently, in which the gameplay simply develops in another way, and then you have to adapt your playstyle with those tanks in order to even then make a decent amount of damage. So first shot, nice. We can take out the T100, sorry, the, what is it, the T110 E3, which is nice. Yeah, so far it is working out. We get hit by the RT, which is fine. We need to move a little bit, wait until we're not spotted, and then we can basically take a couple of shots. Yeah, and so this video is all about tips and tricks for second line gameplay. So with second line gameplay, you get a tool to play more offensively even in a TD like the Grille, which has no armor whatsoever. So what are my 5 basic tips for second line gameplay? First of all, you want to position yourself behind the first line tanks, literally at the second line. This way the adversary tanks are not focusing you, but the tanks playing at the first line. This gives you the opportunity to hide, to become unspotted and not to be focused by RT, at least not for the remainder of the fight until you are taken out. So that is the first rule and basically the definition of second line gameplay. So what else do you need to do? You need to position yourself behind cover, otherwise it will not work. After you have taken a shot, you want to be able to fall back behind cover. This way you can compensate your DPM deficiency if you are playing a high alpha tank like the Grille, or maybe an autoloader tank like the AMX 50B, and after you have fully emptied your clip, and then of course you need a certain time spent to reload your clip. So rule number 3 is you want to mentally calculate and use the reload time of the adversary tanks. This way you can achieve to not take any damage when you take a shot. So always wait until the adversary tanks have taken a shot, then peek out of cover and take a shot. And if you mentally count down the expected reload time of the adversary tank, you can even allow yourself the time for aiming in your gun, as I said, without taking any damage in return. Then tip number 4 is don't play at the same position too long. If you have made damage a couple of times out of the same position, people will be aware and pre-aim your position. then you will take damage if you peek out of cover, no matter how smart you try to use the reload of other tanks. It will simply then not work out. And finally, relocate early enough when the front line moves towards you or even away from you. You can not only conduct second line gameplay at one single position, rather try to relocate to conduct second line gameplay over and over again. If you stay at the same position throughout the game, your second line gameplay will eventually become first line gameplay and you will get pushed out. So those are my 5 golden tips for second line gameplay. As you saw in this game, even with a tank which has not armor whatsoever, at a certain point in time, you want to consciously trade in your HP and you want to play more offensively, because there's nothing more useless than staying at the rear of the map, not conducting any single shot, and then simply returning to the garage with being full HP. So let's now jump into the next gameplay and basically see how we can apply those tips. Alright, second game. This time we spawn on steps in a tier 11 match. Sorry, in a tier 11 match. So, right here, I first of all, once again, want to start the game a bit more passively. And I simply want to see how the game develops, because I do not want to commit myself. Nice, that's what I want to see. Nice, too early on in the game. In this situation, you always must fall back if you've taken a shot. Never ever wait until Sixth Sense comes on, because it will take up to 3 seconds and then you will take damage in the meantime. Now, as you have seen, the Leopard 1 even took a shot into this bush and blind fired this bush. So you always have to anticipate this and expect this, and so never ever place yourself for a too extended period of time in the same bush, because smart players will take blind shots and then you will take damage. So in the current situation, as we have lost the right flank and as the adversary tank has the XX40T has already proceeded to the E0 position, so to this hill, I do not want to stay in the middle, but rather I want to fall back. So that goes basically back to my tip number 4, which was to not position yourself too long at the same spot on the map. You want to always take a look at the minimap and see how the game develops in order to find the perfect place to set yourself up for some second line gameplay, or for some, you know, for your regular gameplay, I would say. So in this case, I want to open up this spot right here. I'd say it's not second line gameplay, it's basically sniping from the rear of the map, which is fine, as I said, because second line gameplay is just an additional tool for you as a Grille 15 player that gives you an additional means in order to take part at the fight and make more damage and be more flexible. Can we take a shot? No, unfortunately, but this was actually tough to hit for our Grille tank. So yeah, no blaming here for the tank. So let's see, maybe he will peek out again. Of course, the T103 is a good hull down tank. However, I think he can be taken under fire by multiple directions, so I tell him to fall back. I think it's not the correct playstyle, especially if he over peaks on the hill. Yeah, now he even, okay, yeah. He even rushes in, maybe killing one tank, but then he will just get taken out because he is now susceptible to, yeah, okay. So he did not even kill a tank. All right, that is how it is. Okay, I think we need to relocate, because maybe those tanks will now, as they have won the flank, aggressively push in. Fortunately, our Borkenkäfer is relocating, trying to spot for our team. And I will knock down this tree because I might need it later on in the game. But you know what? I think in this game, I have two choices. I can stay in the same position, not doing any damage whatsoever, or I can try to help my team on the left flank. And you might say that this is only a heavy flank, a flank where you can only brawl if you're heavily armored. But in my opinion, and I will show this to you, you can also conduct second line gameplay on this flank. So we want to find a place where we have cover right here and where we can move out of cover. And now we need to have other tanks for us spotting the adversary tanks. So let's reload. Let's here go. Leopard 1 is we bounced the shot with heat. Super unfortunate. Super unfortunate. So this would have been a very nice shot for 750 alpha damage. But now the thing we need to do is we need to play patiently. We need to take a look at the what is it, the mouse, and also the Leopard 1. So we need tanks playing in the first line, spotting those tanks, and then we need to use the reload time of this tank. So now Leopard 1 is hiding the mouse, which is nice, so we cannot take a shot from the mouse, which is nice. He's engaged into a fight with the KR1, and so this gave us the chance of taking a shot onto him. Now unfortunately the object 430U is playing in our position. Let's aim in. Nice. So we are using the reload time of the mouse in order to aim in our gun. Basically what I told you in the first game. If you closely watch what your adversary tanks are doing, then you even have the time to aim in your gun, and that's exactly what you need to do, due to the fact that those tanks, like the Grille, usually have a lackluster dispersion. Fortunately, we do not hit this shot. Super unfortunate. We completely aimed in. So this is how you can conduct this gameplay. Now, once again, I do not want to stay in this position for a prolonged period of time, simply because those tanks will expect me, and sooner or later they will simply wait until I peek out of cover, and then I will eat 1 or maybe 2 shots, and as I only have 465 HP remaining, I will then of course not make it and be sent back to the garage. Okay, I am spotted, so I need to wait here until I'm not spotted anymore, and then I can further relocate. So let us see. I want to go to the other position. Let's see whether we can work with the view range circles, another technique that you should apply. By the way, I made this video right here, which covers all the techniques to trade positively in a tank. So this is super helpful, and with this video and with all those tips and tricks, you will be able to take damage, to make damage, but to not take any damage in return. So check it out. It will most likely help you out, and I think it is a very underrated video. All right, can we take another shot onto the E50 now? Of course, I do not want to proceed further to this position, because it would then be more of a first line gameplay. So let's hide behind this rock. Maybe I can make it into my position. The game is currently on the winning side, which is good. Maybe I can use this knockdown tree here, but I do not think so. I think I should not go over this hill. I should not cross it, because then I will get spotted, and I mean, with the Grille you will be instantaneously taken out. So you know what? Let's fall back and let's try to make some second line gameplay once again on this flank right here. Will I get spotted if I cross? I'm spotted once again. Somebody spots me, so let's once again fall back, wait 10 seconds until I'm not spotted anymore, and then we want to maybe I can conduct some second line gameplay right here. Is there a tank which can spot me? Doesn't look like. So let us see. So no. Okay, so then we can further advance back into the position where we used to play. So let's see. Object 430U is still in this position. Of course, he does have the side scraping armor that he needs in order to conduct side scraping. But we don't. By the way, if you are interested in tips and tricks of gameplay with tanks like the Grille, which I call Glass Cannon TD, so tanks with no armor whatsoever, then check out this video right here, which is super helpful. And then I also made a video about TDs, which are simply lackluster. The good thing about the Grille is that it does have its mobility that you can use successfully in order to relocate. It also has a at least partially rotatable turret. And let's take a shot onto this tank. Taschenrotte moves forward, thus we're not able to take a shot. So tanks like, for example, the Yak Tiger, those tanks are slow. They do not have enough armor. They do not have a rotatable turret. So this is the worst tank class, in my opinion, to play. And I even made a video about this tank class, which is shown right here. So feel free to check this video out as well, because of course, if you are able to play those very difficult tanks, then your Grille 15 gameplay will also benefit. Alright, back to the game. Once again, I want to conduct second line gameplay, but some tank is always in our way. Right here we have the KR1, which is manning the first line, and so we can perfectly fine try to take a shot. So KR1 is nice, we can finally take him out. He is engaged in a fight with the KR1, and that is exactly what you need to have in order to conduct second line gameplay. If those tanks are not focusing the tank in the first line, then you have a problem and you should not move out of cover because you will take damage. We need to take a snapshot. Unfortunately, the gun aiming circle blooms out due to the bad dispersion values of the Grille while being on the move. That's just the drawback of this tank. So let's see, maybe we can take him out. Nice. And unfortunately we only, no, actually we made 633 damage. So overall, with conducting second line gameplay, we managed to do 4.3k damage onto this in this tank, and I think this was a decent showcase how to conduct second line gameplay, how to apply my tips and tricks, and how to be more successful even in such a game in where I would say your standard gameplay in the Grille 15, so your basic sniping gameplay in which you sit at the rear of the map, simply does not work. Okay, third and last game for today. We are spawning on Pearl River, and as you can see at the beginning of this game, I was a bit unsure where to position myself. Now, the Grille is a very fast tank, so I would love to go to the heavy flank, basically proceed to the C6 position, or no, sorry, C8 position, and get the first shot onto the heavy tanks, which are slower than me and which arrive there at the position. The problem with the Grille is it doesn't have enough gun depression to work this position, nor does it have the reverse speed to fall back after I've taken a shot. Plus, if I take a shot, I expose a lot of my gun mantlet, and everything on the Grille is easy to pen, and so yeah, I simply cannot play this position easily. So I first of all decide to play passively, as in this situation. Let's try to take a shot, and unfortunately, yeah, I bounce, which is understandable because if you want to reliably penetrate the Stritzwang 103B, then you have to shoot heat due to the different shell characteristics. And by the way, if you want to learn everything about the different characteristics of shell, then check out this video right here. It's an ammunition guide, and it really tells you everything you need to know about the different shell types. It's super helpful because it basically gives you the solution for, or basically it tells you why you sometimes simply do not pen your shot, and it is super helpful. Nice, we can take them out. It is super helpful to understand what's going on and to also have the correct shell loaded for the correct target that you are facing. So check it out, it's super helpful. Alright, so I think I should relocate, and you know what? Let's take a shot onto this tank. Bam, another wonderful 685 damage. Of course I want to help out my teammate, but he is getting rushed out. Let's see whether we can take another shot. Hopefully the reload works out. No, but maybe onto this tank. Ah, he's now also... Ah, here you go. That's what I want to see. Nice. 761. Ever so slight high roll, and all of a sudden we already made 2.9k damage, which is excellent. Of course, now I need to fall back into cover, and I want to take one additional shot onto the Super Conqueror. That would be actually super nice. Okay, he just eats a shot from me. He actually eats 2 shots, I believe. We even get a little bit of assisting damage, which is nice. And so yeah, we have to make sure that those tanks are taken out. So far, it's basically conventional gameplay with the Grille. Let's try to be aimed in, and unfortunately, we do not hit the part of the IS-7 which we can easily pen. So 6-2, game is on the winning side, and this is once again a situation in which, in my opinion, you should stop your conventional gameplay and you should play more aggressively with the Grille, and that is where second line gameplay starts, and second line gameplay will give you the technique that you need in order to conduct this offensive and aggressive gameplay in a tank like the Grille. Once again, this is super helpful if you want to further boost your damage. Now take a look what happens. So we have the Type 5 Heavy, which is kind of our first line tank, and we are positioning into this area here where we have cover and where we can instantaneously fall back. So we want to be aimed in, and here you go. We want to first of all take out this tank. Unfortunately, only 372 damage. So that is what you want to do, and this is why second line gameplay is so beneficial for you if you simply have this in your bag of tricks in order to conduct it every time you need it to further boost your stats to make more damage and so on and so forth. So we are spotted up by this tank. Okay, so let us see if he turns his tank. Okay, he's taken out by the Shakal, which is a pretty decent tank, I believe. And now, once again, same situation. Those 2 remaining tanks are falling back, and I have to advance. If I continue in my current position, then I will not make any more damage, but I'm always keen to make as much damage as I possibly can. And right here in this situation, the only thing I can do is I can conduct second line gameplay. I can use the Type 5 Heavy in order to take shots and to use his armor, and as soon as he has taken a shot, as soon as the other tanks have taken a shot, I can use the reload of those tanks in order to push out and then take damage on my own. So Mouse has just shot, this tank is turned to the other tank, and now I can at least take out the Mouse and do another 619 damage. So some additional damage that boosts my result so that I can have 3.9k damage in the end and basically 5k combined. So I think a pretty decent result in the Grille, and I think all those 3 videos showed what you need to do to conduct second line gameplay successfully, what it is, and then also why it is so important if you're playing tanks like the Grille. If you have this, let's say this playstyle in your bag of tricks, then you can play this tank much more flexible. I'm not suggesting that you should always conduct second line gameplay and always play those tanks unconventionally. I simply want to stress that if you can conduct second line gameplay, then this offers you an additional technique and one additional piece or playstyle, however you want to call it, that you can bring to the fight in order to even make damage if the game is not how it is supposed to develop, is not developing how it is supposed to develop, and they can even stay flexible and conduct more damage. Alright guys, that was it for today with the tutorial about second line gameplay. What do you think about this playstyle? Do you manage to conduct second line gameplay with your Grille 15 or maybe your AMAX 50B or Embeddable? Or do you only play your Grille like a sniper camping at the rear of the map? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. And as always, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up or hype the video. You can hype the video multiple times, it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you find this video extremely helpful, then feel free to support me via super thanks. This way you can make a one-time donation. You just have to click this button underneath the video. If you adore this channel and you want to consistently support me, then consider subscribing to my channel or become a member once again with the click of a button underneath the video. Thanks a lot, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.